chain and this crypto Ethereum has changing the whole environment. It's going so rapidly, increasing the price, and people became rich without it. This we couldn't go fascinated. Why is it happening? So we started to basically do our research and started trading. Back in the day, we were trading Big Macs. Nobody knew what a trader was. Okay, we didn't know anything. That's when I realized that we could get liquidated. Right? And that's when I realized that there's risk involved. So essentially, we actually started our own community here in the university, Aston University in Birmingham, in the UK. And we created this like society. And this is what crypto is about. It's creating a community society, creating finding value in people. Okay? And many of the people that I was essentially collaborating with, some of them became professional traders. And they have a friend who made a living off this, right? Who essentially, with my own eyes, I saw him becoming a millionaire, right? By basically trading. Okay, you can do this. Or you can have someone who became a founder, and essentially during the bull run, during the bear market beforehand, he essentially started building, and then during the bull run, he sold the company for valuation of 33 million, right? So this is potentially could be your career path. Okay, that's what I chose because I saw. I realized, okay, I need to get on this because I always wanted a career in banking. Okay, now what I always wanted, I saw the movies like Wall Street. I was like, God, I want to work for Morgan Stanley, or I want to work for Goldman Sachs. Okay, I want to work for the big company, big corporate company, make it cool. But when you apply, you realize it's super hard. It's like nearly impossible. It's like 0.001% chance to get into one of those clients. If you do, you're going to be very successful. But there's big buts into it. You're going to have to lie. That's just reality. I have friends who work in big banks, and all they do is work. Okay, they work on the weekends, they work on the evenings, they think about work. This is what they do. This is 24/7. You're going to be there. Because it's highly stressful. But in reality, there's going to be 1,000 more people at the door waiting to take your job in the big bank. Okay, so I realized, okay, I'm not going to do it because it's not impossible. Okay, so I started my career where I realized that okay, I'm going to work and identify the key players in Web3 and crypto. Okay, and I'm gonna start to see what kind of startups are there, what kind of next big things are there. So essentially, I got very lucky. So I applied for Trustword. So do you guys know what Trustword is? Maybe some of you use. No? Okay, so basically it's centralized knowledge storage on app. Okay, and during the bull run, we were able to essentially get acquired by a big new company. Right, and we were able to have a successful career and good investing period. People became really successful being part of the startup. Okay, we have essentially sold the company to Binance, right? And moving on, I realized that now I'm here. I'm working for VAB team, and I'm just fascinated how Bybit is growing. So, who knows here what Bybit is? Like, what's the whole nature of Bybit? Do you guys know? Someone?
Is it a?
Server the keys.
No. Is it a crypto exchange platform like Binance?
Yeah.
That's
So, what's this crypto exchange?
Usually, crypto exchanges are like when you have multiple different currencies, and you can either change it to different currencies or take the money back as real money. So that's what exchanges are. So you can obviously buy one. Let's say you have money and you want to buy a cryptocurrency. You can go through those exchanges and buy one. Buy a cryptocurrency, or you can trade it within the exchange to different currencies, and then you can take back that you can like transfer the cryptocurrency to money and then get back the money to them.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah, very good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, very good, very good. So, central exchanges, yeah, as you said, you can basically have providers, people who you can, if you have fiat currency, which is cash, you can transition it into crypto, and then potentially you can win, right? You can get more money from the exchange by trading derivatives, for example, right? And you can go in and go 100x long, and maybe you get lucky, and then you get, amazing returns, and then you can cash it out. That's a main idea. So similar to stock exchange, right? So derivatives products is a main driver for us. Derivatives is basically meaning that you derive value from something else, right? So you have the price of Bitcoin, okay, but you can trade this spot, the price of Bitcoin itself, but then you have derivatives products where you have leverage. Okay, leverage means that I can borrow money. Essentially, my size of my position can be bigger. Okay, and basically that's the main driver for us. So with VIPs, we essentially work with high-net-worth individual people, right? I have clients, who have millions on Bybit. This is great because we can build a relationship with them, and essentially we want to collaborate together to work together to create this environment. Okay, we host events for VIPs. Who knows? But potentially, maybe some of you will become VIP clients in the future. You know that? But today, I want to talk to you about not Bybit, not myself, or my career. I want to talk to you about the security and how AI is essentially changing. Right? Actually, I didn't know that that AI is just so big, and it became like a massive octopus, a kraken, which is like going to different every single sector of industry. Literally, AI is everywhere, and security in particular as well, right? So it's basically, first of all, I want to talk to you how, what do you guys know what DApps are? Decentralized applications, right? So I think some other people, Francesco mentioned to you, right? You have Web3, right? It's like a top layer above internet, right? Which you can transact value, okay? But you have decentralized applications. Okay, so let's say I have a startup idea, I want to create a DEX, decentralized exchange, where people can trade. This is a decentralized application, right? It's like a little app within the Web3 world, which people can use, people can interact with, essentially potentially make money, right? So basically, AI is essentially can be integrated in those decentralized applications, and you can become better. The security falls deeper within it because security and Web3, as I mentioned, is transition value, which means money and users. So some people are going to be looking to abuse the system. They see funds and big capitals involved, okay, millions of dollars being stored in smart contracts. And people think, maybe if I find a bug, I can then transition to my wallet. Okay, so big companies, and majority of the companies, I'll say all of them, are focused on security because they want to protect themselves from bad actors to abuse their systems. So one of the ways how AI can essentially help those companies is scanning and searching for anomalies. So, for example, there's an opportunity that people are, kind of capitalizing and used to capitalize back in the day heavily, called arbitrage. Okay, so arbitrage is basically when, for example, I buy Ethereum on one of the decentralized applications, then I can sell it for the better price on another exchange, and then swap on USDT, and then basically a circle, right? You create a little triangle where you basically abuse the difference in price in between those kind of three exchanges. And you could potentially make, let's say you make 0.5%. It's nothing. You have only one I don't know, $1,000, then you make a circle, you make 0.5. But imagine you create this, okay, create this or abuse. Then you can go to me and say, Daniel, I have this amazing idea. Give me like 10,000. You can go to someone else, and then you can basically maximize your returns. Essentially, that's how Sam Bankman-Fried, who is the founder who's now in trouble with FTX, that's how he made his first money. That's how he got rich. He didn't get rich on FTX, he got rich on this, on basically underlining different arbitrage opportunities, okay? And basically, I think in particular with him, he wasn't utilizing decentralized applications, but he was buying Bitcoin in Japan. Then he would go on a plane and then sell Bitcoin in the US, right? Because he identified this opportunity, and then he went to big VCs and got money, and then decided to make large returns. And then he started that. That's how he got rich, basically. So AI can essentially scan for those anomalies, identify them, and make sure they don't happen. Right? So pretty much, people won't be abusing the system for potential return. That's number one. Number two, let's say I have a large amount of assets. I could potentially mess with your project if you're like a startup and you don't have enough liquidity. AI can potentially identify some anomaly behaviors with, that you're trying to, or, bad money, right? So maybe the Bitcoin, or you possibly, I don't know, you got it in the wrong way, right? And then you're trying to interact, you're trying to use. Potentially, AI can identify that, can scan through this and report to developers, and they can fix it as soon as possible, right? I think secondly, as I mentioned, smart contracts. AI can, so audits is a huge thing. It's a huge industry. If you want to make a startup using blockchain technology, you will most definitely be using smart contract technology. Okay? Because that's how that's the whole value of Ethereum and contracts. So security of those smart contracts is so important, because companies and startups pay millions, to not just one auditor who's going to scan through their smart contract and sell them what's wrong. At least four, because you want to make sure that it's good. And I'm reading the news pretty much every day. I still see various projects get hacked. So there's still a lot of potential, missing value there. So those companies who, there's so many companies who focus on this, and they're billion-dollar companies in terms of valuation, and they're going to utilize AI to essentially improve this purpose. Thirdly, authentication. Right, you go on your phone, Face ID. We utilize essentially Face ID, right? We scan your face, okay, that's good. We utilize verification. The more layers of verification you have, the better it is. I want to make sure this is you accessing centralized chain where you store your deposit, where you store, I don't know, maybe you have 1 million USDT there. Don't you want to make sure that it's protected? You want to. So AI can essentially recognize voice patterns, right? I think there was essential National Geographic made research. They made 10 images of a lion or something, and then they gave a questionnaire to a bunch of people and asked them, okay, which one of those pictures was actually made by AI? Nobody could get it right. Okay, so AI can also help in fake this, right? How do we identify what's good? How do we know that this image was made by AI? You wouldn't. So essentially, the big thing how AI can help is, as I mentioned, protecting your assets, right? Protecting from potential fraud, right? If someone accesses your phone or accesses your app or something in a particular way. Possibly AI can gather data, identify, basically what we do is it sees a pattern, okay, that you follow. And then if you fall out of this pattern, AI can identify it very quick and make sure that this is not happening. Okay, so you're not going to be fall into the bad hands. Right? So the main idea is that we store value and assets that are not going to be lost. Cryptography as well is very important because that's why the whole blockchain even happened. Right? The foundation of Bitcoin is cryptography. Right? If, for example, I want to send some money to Shady, I can essentially use Bitcoin, right, which utilizes the blockchain cryptography methods. And I'm just going to be a certain wallet address passed on to wallet address. There's no person. AI can essentially change that as well. So in conclusion, security is a whole $1 trillion market. Okay, it can change everything. Okay, it can improve the whole value. It can improve the big companies. So I think AI right now is already making sure that it's integrated into those companies. And I want to give you a couple of examples. So big companies are already on this, right? They see the underlying value of this. They want to make sure that they stay on top of this, right? We see some big names, IBM. Come on, those guys started in the 90s, right? They already, IBM now is more of a data company, right? Rather than the start of the computers. But they already use AI tools to, identify anomalies on the blockchain. Now, I think this is like the big identify anomalies in the space of Web3 or blockchain in general using AI. That's $1 million idea. So, for example, if you come to IBM and say, look, guys, I have a great idea, this is how we improve. They're going to be interested in inquiring. So, there's a certain trend. Like big companies are really wanting this AI. Everyone's talking about AI. And this trend is like a wave. You want to be a surfer, right? The wave is already there. You want to make sure that you're on top of the wave, right? So you ride it. Right, you can essentially become part of this trend. And having a good exit or acquisition is important. That's how you make it. Microsoft, AWS as well. I think in Web3 crypto, pretty much everyone is using AWS. And they're already using AI tools to essentially make orders for smart contracts. Google uses to predict threats on the market. Oracle, essentially massive cloud service. So everyone is already there. We want to make sure that you stay on top of this. So, thank you guys for listening. I just want to give you the opportunity to ask me a few questions. You can ask me about this particular topic or anything in particular.
I just wanted to ask about competition. Thank you for the presentation, by the way. It was really informative. But you said for AI and security, like how do you train it? Like to mention how it notices the pattern, like something like an illegal transaction, or like the guy you were talking about who bought Bitcoin in Japan and then sold it in the US. Yep. Would it notice that as a negative pattern, or would it see it as non-normal and then raise?
I think with AI, you need to feed loads of data to it, and then essentially with that data that it's being fed, it can identify some anomalies. Right? So the number one thing that if you potentially want to do, for the company, is basically they want to make sure that it doesn't happen. Right? So the companies want to make sure that there's no possibility of potential abuse. Right? But they essentially store some data, potentially on their servers, and they can feed this data, we can get loads of data, and then the AI can have this data and make sure identifying the patterns, and then we can moving forward, and then underline them, and then they can be fixed. Does it make sense? Yeah. That's pretty much how the structure, step by step, would be happening, right? So for companies, but the companies wouldn't do it themselves. Now they would, I think, potentially, they wouldn't want to waste their time on this, right? If I have a startup, or let's say I have a big project right now, I wouldn't want to waste my team, time, because I'm good in the product. I would potentially hire someone to do it for me, like security company, right? And they do this. They want to make sure, those security companies want to make sure that they have this capability. They can come to me and say, "Dan, don't worry about it, okay? Here's, we're going to do it for you. We need this, and we're going to sort it out."
Thank you. Thank you for the so much early validation. It was really helpful. From my understanding, AI could be used in both harmful and good ways, because people could point the log in the system using AI, and vice versa. People could develop AI to help secure the system. So where do you draw the line between, is it a competition between developing the better AI?
I think the competition is really there, most definitely. On the first basis, where's the line? We never know. It comes to ethical. There's so many movies like Terminator, and talking about when at the end of the world, robots are going to take over, and AI can, for instance, I'm here now with you guys, but possibly moving on, maybe there's some more charismatic AI being present here, given the presentation. I don't know. So where is this line? Why do we need? Some jobs can be essentially changed and utilized by AI, and it's going to be integrated either way. Okay, it's going to happen. So, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time, and I think that it's two sides of the coin, most definitely. Some people are going to use this technology to abuse, and some people are going to counter that. And that's always good. But if you look at the longer term spectrum, you look at history. If we always thought passively about something, we wouldn't be making any progress. We would stay in the Stone Ages, let's make a wheel. Oh my God, so scary. I'm gonna break my arm. Okay, doesn't make sense. So I think it's gonna be part of our society if we want it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last one question. I may be something there.
Yeah.
Which one?
Let's have two.
Okay.
Thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to ask you, what's your opinion on maybe some other implementations of AI in crypto other than security?
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, you can trade between different cryptocurrencies. So maybe automate that using AI.
Yeah, most definitely. Actually, before I joined Trussell, this was one of our ideas. So we were trading. We were thinking, God, it's so interesting. Maybe I can potentially build an algorithm, can trade for me, and then we're going to be making so much money with just passing. Okay, you're just going to be there. Okay. And we started doing this. So what we realized is pretty much impossible. And essentially, there's a paradox. So because the market is always changing, it's never constant. This creates a paradox when your algorithm needs to change with it. But how do you know how it's going to change? You never know. It's going up and down, and flat. Okay, by how much? There's just so many variables in place which are so unpredictable. That's what makes trading so variable. Because you never know what's going to be next. Okay? And that's why people make loads of money, because they get lucky and the timing is right, where everything falls in place. Okay? So potentially in the future, there's a way of automated trading. Okay, some people that I work with personally, we have systems in place for but it's less of an AI, but more of a bot. Okay, so bots can be created on a certain pattern that you want to build. You can gather the data, and then you can essentially build this bot and then you execute orders. You can do this. But AI, which constantly going to make you billions of dollars, right now it's just not happening because due to this paradox. Because if you have it, you're going to be a billionaire, not yet, right? So what's maybe you find out. If you do, you call me. But yeah.
Problem. Who is? Okay.
First of all, thank you for the great presentation again. And I want to ask something you mentioned at the beginning about blockchain trading, where you and your body started in 2018.
Yeah.
Do you think now in 2023 it's still like a pursuit, like something I'm going to pursue and I can take over the next 5-10 years and it's going to build me a sustainable capital to be able to pursue other bigger businesses? Yeah. Do you think it's still like a good thing to pursue, or do you think it's there's better options to start journey through?
Good question, actually. So personally, I started trading by chance because I wasn't good enough. Okay, so my friend, he became a millionaire. He has like 3-4 million from trading. Okay, he made it, but I wasn't there because. So my friend, he was very fast, kind of spontaneous guy. He was thinking outside the box. Back in school, we went to school. He was going to the gym at 3 in the morning. Okay, we have school next day. Who goes to the gym at 3 in the morning? Okay, so he was kind of like outside the box thinker. Okay, so what you need to understand about trading is a zero-sum game. So if you win $1,000, someone else lost on the other hand. So you can never you take one from the market. That's an idea. So I think it's very important to learn the fundamentals. You learn a lot about risk management, about size, about the whole macro game, right? So big traders, what they do is, for example, one of the famous examples is they lose small and they win big. That's the main thing, right? So let's say I have 10 trades, and I lose 9, or I lose like 1%. And on my 10th trade, I'm going to be making 20%. That's good. That's what you should be aiming for. So trading is a long-term game. In crypto trading, so trading is not just in crypto. You can trade forex, you can trade stocks, and I think it creates you more of an investor, right? You basically understand the economy better, because as I mentioned, right, previously, the market was the money was being printed, the money then went where? Stocks, crypto, and people just got very rich. But if you didn't sell, you became very poor, very bad. Okay. How do you identify this? Right? I think in reality, if you want to develop, it's very important. That's my views.
And do you think this should be done better as a team effort or solo?
Yeah, it's purely up to you. So I think like I'm the kind of guy who plays mathematician. I'm a cheat guy. As I mentioned in the library, I would just sit with my mates and I would just get more work done this way. There's some people they're one guy, okay, they sit down, the full focus, and do it. Right? So it purely depends on you and how you need to understand yourself first. Don't focus on the money, right? That's not where the game is. Focus on yourself. And this is your life, this is your game. and you're the main characters. Okay? And this is where you realize where your passion is. If your passion is trading, you should do it. Okay, focus on long term. Make this so great. Become wealthy. If you like the team, fair play. Get your mates. Get your mates engaged. I got my mates engaged. I was known in university as a crypto guy. Get back in the day, I was like, crypto? What's an outlay? What are you talking about? But I was always talking, promoting cryptocurrency. Like, oh my God, there's the Ethereum. That's how I made a society out. Okay, because I started to have loads of people who started to get into it, just like me. I made a whole community, like a club, where we would gather, have some drinks, that's good. And it's good stuff, good fun.
And just last thing, after you're joining how to see it, do you think it's better for crypto trading to dive in first and try and fail and learn from your mistake?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's better to have a mentor, someone who guide you through the way, or do you take programs, courses? What do you think is the best way to approach starting something like that?
I definitely think that education is big. If you want to learn, you have to educate yourself. Not just how it works. So the best way to learn is learn from someone else. Right? So if you call your dad and say, Dad, I need $1 million, and then you go and then you lose it all, probably not good. So it's better to learn some fundamentals, like science, you learn the game first, and then you can start testing. So, for example, in Bible, we have demo trade. You don't know what it is. You have some demo 120K, so it's not real, but you have it there. And you can basically test. So this is what I think you do. And that's what I missed out, because I was, I straight away, I called my dad and said, I need 10K. Okay, I'm going to start trading. Okay, and if I went back, I would definitely learn first, because I didn't know. I didn't know nothing about what's the algorithm, what's funding rate, because essentially if you fund every 8 hours, you're going to be making fees. Okay, so there's so much in place and involved in this, mathematically and game wise, which you need to learn, right? So, for example, if you want to learn how to play a game, right, it's so much better to test and go through a tutorial first rather than just start playing. Does it make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Trust me, you're one step ahead of everyone now in the market.
That's very true. I wish someone told me that.
Yeah, I wish someone told me that when I started as well. We didn't have this. We didn't have any cryptocurrency platforms to mentor us when we were doing this.
Yeah, this is very key.
Dove in, lost money, and then started, okay, I need to learn it first.
Sorry. Thank you for the presentation, Joshua. And I wanted to ask, you spoke about how frauds, electricity fraud, and how AI can help with securing it.
Yeah.
But what is there's a better one that is related to the factors. What would happen in that case? What would they?
Well, the what you mean? Fraud?
We are using AI to secure the app from having frauds happening.
Yeah.
So what if there is a bot that can break through that boundary?
So if I'm using AI and I'm protecting, or are you saying what if there's another AI trying to break it?
Yeah.
That's a good question. But I think certainly, look, there's always, as I mentioned, there's a game of someone who's trying to attack and someone who's trying to protect. And that's just how it is. People are going to be, people who they're going to be making this AI boards in particular as well. So not only companies or Web3, everyone is going to try to utilize this technology and create this AI bots to potentially, hit as much as possible, because it is monetization, right? So I think both, the bad guys and the good guys are going to be utilizing AI technology to target each other. AI is basically going to use as a tool. right? It's an instrument which can be used to bring value. Yeah. So, good question. Yeah.